Good evening. I call the work session of the City of Fairburn to order. Today's date, April 27th, 2026. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Mayor. The Honorable Anatavia Benson.
Present.
The Honorable Linda J. Davis.
Present.
The Honorable Fannie Mae Hauser.
Present.
The Honorable Shanita Nichols.
Present.
The Honorable Samuel Perry.
Present.
And the Honorable Mayor Pro Tem Ulysses J. Smallwood.
Present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item.
The first item on the agenda is the legislation delegation debriefing.
Thank you so much. I'd like to welcome to the podium Representative Lydia Glaze, who represents the cities of Fairburn, Union City, and Palmetto, and a portion of South Fulton. Is that
Yes,
correct?
Fulton District 4, then I have Sharpsburg and North Coweta.
Okay. Well, welcome, Councilwoman Glaze. I'm Councilwoman. Okay.
How was that?
I was about to say, Representative Glaze and I served on council together, and it is so awesome to have you here to present to us a legislative briefing. Sine Die occurred on April 2nd of 2026, and so we look forward to hearing about the various legislation that will impact our city. Thank you.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much for the invitation. It's an honor to be home, and just a few weeks ago, it was actually 34 years living in the city, raising my children here, and then serving here formally. So today I stand before you and I feel like this is an aha moment, and with you being mayor and us having served together and so many great friends who are serving, thank you guys for what you do. The city could not be what it is if you guys weren't who you are, and then the great staff that we have here. And that's just not words, that's true. I live here and I chose to live here, and I'm so blessed to be in the city of Fairburn. So thank you. And I do want to take a moment, as we have lost one of the icons in Georgia who served us for 50 years and was our congressman for many, many years up until 2 years ago. So Congressman David Scott, if we would just have a word of silence just to honor his work in years gone. Thank you. And so I do want to open up and say that this is probably, out of the 4 years, this has probably been the most difficult year. The reason it was a lot of difficulty because we had a lot of differences. And usually there's like 90% of our work comes from bipartisan work. And we started off with some things that were at both ends. And so I'm going to start with the bad. How about that? Some people start with the good. I'm going to end with the good and start with the bad. And I want to tell you that the bad didn't stay bad long enough. But I want you to know that House Bill 1114 was one of the bills that really would have upended local governments and how we actually provide services to our citizens, as well as how we provide for our young people K through 12 education. And that would have been to eliminate the homestead tax. And as you know, that's the meat and bread of how we run local governments, county governments, and our school systems. And so when we walked in with against millions of dollars worth of advertisement. And it sounds real good when someone tells you on television that we're going to relieve you of your homestead taxes, that you should own your home out free and clear. But then who takes care of the fire, the police, the garbage pickup? Who takes care of your local grid for your utilities? All of that is a part of how this whole America, and particularly Georgia, is set up. So 159 counties. Can you imagine us trying to allow each of us to have our own local tax districts to raise the funds that are needed to run, let's just say, Fairburn? That means everything we could have bought at any store in Fairburn would have been taxed probably 30 to 40, maybe 50 cents extra, and that still probably was not going to be enough. And so I'd like to say, you know, I know this is a nonpartisan, but every Democrat voted against that bill, and we've got some Republicans, so it was bipartisan. But we saved this state, I believe, from walking into what we would have known as financial ruin. And that's not overstating. That is absolutely the case. And so after we took care of that major bad, we took care of some other things that were bad, but they were something that we could live through. And so data centers, I want to tell you that we failed. We failed to do something about the incentives around data centers. And now that puts the onus back on local governments because now the state is still giving its big tax rebates to data centers being built here in the state. And that means that you guys have the onus of determining how many data centers you will allow in your cities, and we have one here in Fairburn. I think you guys did a good job. You put it right where it's supposed to be, and that's because we have good planning, where things belong. And so when you put it where it belongs in the industrial park, that's where it belongs, and that's because we've got good planning in this city. And so I want to commend you for that. And nobody knocked our door down, but there are other local cities and on the other side of House District 67 where there was a lot of, I would say, contention about data centers and how much land they wanted to take, how much water they use in a day, how much they impact your local grid, and they literally almost take away and can strangle, sometimes if you get too many, growth and development where people are concerned. And so I just want to commend this body of legislators that was not brought to our door. And you guys did what you needed to do, I think, coming out the track and giving that one. And now it seems, you know, it'll quiet down. But remember that tax rebate is still here, and that's what attracts data centers when they get that incentive from the state. So again, I'll take the onus. The bills were drafted, they were dropped, and there was no move. And that was because there are a lot of things that you and I can't see that happens, and we were not able to even get it on the floor for a vote. So I really hang my head on from there. But let's go with some good news. The amended budget. The amended budget is the budget we walk in January, and it's the second half, just like you guys do, and we put more money in because we've seen where some needs are. We take some money out because we've seen where some overages were. But House Bill 973 was the amended budget, and we added about $4.5 billion with a B, $4.5 billion from our reserve fund. And I want to be clear, reserve fund, our reserves are about 35%, and then once we clear that, then everything is undesignated. So we had about 14 billion with a B, sitting in unreserved. And so we were able to take unrestricted surplus funds and fund the extended budget by $4.5 billion. Let me tell you where that money went. When I came in this year, I came in and said first day I came in to save lives. And you think, oh, how are you going to save lives as a legislator? Well, there were things that were happening. We knew in September that the Department of Human Services, where our children who are in foster care are under that budget, we knew that their budget was double the size in the red. Did you hear me right? Double the size in the red. So their $41.9 million was actually $87 million in the red. And that means that vendors weren't getting paid and our children weren't being able to have their services. So in October, all the services for children, 12,000 plus students who are part of our foster care system were not receiving any benefits of the wraparound services that they need to actually thrive. There are children who sit on what we call the edges of society, and they're our children. And when we don't do what we need to do to take care of them, they suffer 3 times the amount of any other child in the state. And so I sit on appropriations. I sit on that particular part of the budget where we have human resources, and there's just 2 Democrats and other 8 are Republicans. But one thing we agreed upon, we were going to take care of the children first. So in the amended budget, we walked in the door. We had a couple of hearings, and we said first in our part of the budget, we've got to take care of the deficit, and then we've got to pay the vendors, and we've got to get the services back for our children. And so part of the amended budget, we took $81 million and immediately began to wipe out the debt. And then we took another $5.97 million and we restarted the services. And then, of course, they're in the regular budget. But I want to tell you that because that's how we frame our work. Our work is around making sure people thrive. And so we did that. And I'm going to tell you, I led that fight. Because that fight started as soon as I heard. And I have to say, I didn't know. If we don't hear from you guys on certain things, we don't know. We don't get to hear everything in the state. And so that one thing I heard, and we began to work on that. And so in the amended budget, we added about $4.5 million. And I'll tell you, start right off where it's going to affect you, our local road assistance program. In the amended budget, we put $250 million in because we got a lot of grants, right? And we wanted to make sure that City of Fairburn, made sure that we have the money to help with our local road assistance projects. There are bridges. We just did one about 8 years ago. We had a bridge over here that we had to redo, and actually Fairburn is considered one of the safest cities in not just Georgia, in America, because of the bridges that connect into have been redone, are some of the safest bridges, and so we've got that as a part of what people know us by in writing. And then we put $850 million in to give the homestead exemption. So every year our taxes go up because the value of our homes go up. And so that $850 million is whatever your taxes were last year for state, they should be the same this year because we're given a grant to give relief. So whatever the overage would have been and the increase, the state is actually going to take care of that up to $500. And so most of us in the room who are homeowners will benefit from that one homeowner tax relief program that was in the amended budget. We also did $409 million in state mental health. We are building a 300-bed hospital at Georgia Regional. We have too many people locked up because they have mental health conditions, and because we didn't have enough beds. So I want to tell you that the state knows that. They put the money in the budget, and the hospitals are going to be built. So one local for Georgia Regional, and then we're having a brand new 300-bed hospital in Macon for mental health. And so we're going to be able to move some of those folks out of jails and put them where they can get help. I will tell you that one of the biggest things that I jumped up and shouted about was for the first time since 1992, there is in the state of Georgia a new scholarship called the Dream Scholarship. The Dream Scholarship is doing what the Hope Scholarship did in the beginning. The Hope Scholarship was for students who had need, and then quickly it changed to merit-based only. And so some of those students who didn't get a 3.0 just were kind of still left behind. And I want to give honor where honor is due. Governor Kemp really fought for this. It came through my committee, so we got to put some amendments in here that really makes this budget work. There is a work eligibility part to this after you show that you have need. And so, you know, Lydia Glaze, I feel like if you go to college and you're a student, one of my colleagues here, Councilwoman Linda J. Davis, her daughter ran track. And so what we're saying is that students who are part of athletic programs, students who are part of any program, an ambassador, or even Divine Nine, if they're doing any kind of volunteer service, that service should be part of the time frame that they will get to be able to meet the eligibility for working 20 hours in a month. And so we got that in, and not only did that, we were able to put in a graduate part of this scholarship, so that if you stay in the state of Georgia and you have need and you're trying to go to med school or to something in the health field, you can get additional money for that in this Dream Scholarship. And we made it self-sustaining, so we don't have to come back every year and put the money in the budget. We put $325 million into a trust fund. That's how you know things are sustainable, because it will make its money $11 to $12 million a year, and that money will be self-sustaining, and we will spend about $11 to $12 million a year, about $25 million every 2 years, on helping students who need help to go to college and who will stay in the state to do it, and especially those who will come into the health field and take care of us. We're also building, for the first time in the state of Georgia, a College of Optometry. I touch my glasses because we have never had that in the state, and so we're building one down at Georgia State, Georgia Southern. And then I want to say, because we have some teachers here, we are doing something that we needed to do. Every year we need to make sure that our teachers are shored up. And so this year we put a $2,000 salary supplement. And we had teachers in mind. That means out of the education committee, I sit on education and higher ed. I don't know if there's anybody else. I know in my party, I'm the only one who sits on the House side on both. And to get this in the budget and make sure it stayed in the budget to the end, we just didn't do teachers. We did everybody in the building. So the bus drivers, those who work in the cafeterias, they're going to get that $2,000 salary supplement. And then I know our illustrious mayor, Mayor Portis Jones, is interested in housing. So I want to tell you where the money is for the housing. The housing, we've set up a state housing trust fund, put $45 million in there, and it's a grant. And that means that this city can apply for a grant. What we have to do, though, is we have to have some intention of making sure we help those who are homeless. And that doesn't mean homeless and not working. I'm talking about those that may be in hotels. They may be have been priced out of the senior center. Yeah. And but inside of the definition, they don't have a stable place affordable for them. And so that money is there. It's already in the budget. It's already been approved. It does not have to go to the desk of our governor. And then I want to piggyback on that and tell you that we just put money in the budget so that everybody will get some relief this year. And so all of us are going to get a tax rebate if you file taxes. And so if you're single, $250 will come back to you automatically. If you're married filing joint, that's $500. And if you're head of household, $375. Why? Because we heard the cry when gas went up. And because gas went up, we knew for sure that we needed to do a couple of things. One is we need to do something to defray the cost. So for the last 30 days, and it's about 40 days now, we've got 19 more days for the tax, for the gas tax, which is 34 cents on regular gas, and I believe it's 47 cents on diesel, where you guys, we are not paying that state tax. So on the 19th, if we don't extend it, gas is going to go up 34 cents, okay? Just want you to be clear. Don't say that, you know, we just did something erroneous. We reduced the tax, took the tax off, and it was only for 60 days, trying to give some relief, and then trying to give some relief around state tax. I do want to say that the reason that we are really working on making sure money is in the hands of our working families is because we're not sure how this war is going to continue. But we know for sure that the disruptions that are in Southeast Asia haven't fully hit us yet, and they will come. They will come, and we're in an emergency right now in the state of Georgia. There were 91 counties as of last Wednesday that were under the emergency due to the fires. Now, there is a ban across the state. I saw some folks burning last Wednesday. Well, they just made it under the wire. Now the ban is throughout the state, and I know you guys will take care of Fairburn to make sure that people are not burning. We do not have leisure to burn. We're in a drought, and things will burn quickly and fast. That's why if you ask, where are all the trees on the interstate? This was already known that this was going to be one of the worst years on record for forest fires. And so what we did is took down everything that could allow fires to hop from city to city and community to community. So sorry, we don't like to take trees down, but we had to for the safety of so many of us.
Council, Representative Glaze, I just want you to let you know your colleagues
Okay.
have arrived.
They have arrived, so I'm
yes.
going to say one last thing that I told you that I would mention, and that is around literacy, because I sit on education. We put over $130 million in, and where that goes is for the first time, we're requiring kids to come to school at 5 years old. And the reason we are is because our literacy rate is terrible, meaning third graders, 1 out of 3 kids are not reading, actually 2 out of 3 are not reading on grade level. And so 4 years ago, we started putting into play literacy as a focal point. And so now the big deal this year is that every school in all of Georgia will have a literacy coach. That means they will have an expert coming in to make sure that they help teachers teach literacy using the science of reading, which we know is phonics, and they will also be there for the students to make sure that every student that's not on grade level gets a reading IEP so they can secure them through those early elementary years to make sure that they leave out reading. Thank you so much, and we appreciate all the work that you guys do.
Thank you so much, Representative Glaze. So we will have questions, but I'd like to have Senator Kemp and Representative Jackson to speak first. So Senator Kemp, and welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members and city staff. Thanks so much for having me here today, and I truly appreciate all the work that you all do for our communities to ensure that our communities are thriving. I'm honored to serve in the Georgia State Senate, and I want to take a few minutes to talk about some of the work that we've done, and I've tried to listen intently to my fearless colleague from the House to try to take out some of the things that she addressed so they were not too redundant. But first, we, as Representative Glaze shared, we focused on real relief for our communities. This year, the legislature did pass additional income tax cuts, which accelerates the reduction of our state income tax rate. And while tax relief is important, I just want to share that I have concerns, along with many of my colleagues, Democratic colleagues in the Senate, about the long-term impacts these policies can have on our state budget and the services our communities expect from this state. Reducing state revenues, either by reducing income tax or property tax, can put added pressures on cities like Fairburn and counties like Fulton County and our school districts that depend on stable funding to provide essential services. So the Democratic caucus took a different approach. We proposed eliminating the sales tax on everyday essentials so families could feel real relief where it matters most in their daily lives. As we know, that is what can help to improve folks' bank accounts by saving money on things that they purchase every day. And some of the approaches that were taken under the Gold Dome this year are more regressive than others. At the same time, we did support the targeted rebate checks for taxpayers, which will begin reaching bank accounts in about 6 weeks or so. These rebates are funded through the state's surplus, so not through ongoing cuts, which is why we did support that relief to provide relief without continuing to create future budget gaps or shifting the burden onto our local communities. Also this year, we did pass, as Representative Glaze shared, House Bill 1193, which is the Georgia Early Literacy Act, which will place a dedicated literacy coach in every K-3 elementary school across the state. This is a major step because we know that if a child is not reading on grade level by the end of the 3rd grade, It affects every part of their future. This did not happen overnight. It builds on the work that we started last year and the year prior to that. Last year, I was able to pass Senate Bill 93, which was signed into law by Governor Kemp. And this bill strengthened how reading is taught in our schools and aligns with the instruction being the science of reading. I also led the charge to eliminate 3Qing in our classrooms, which is a way to teach children to read by guessing versus actually learning phonics. So this year we took that foundation and expanded on it. So all classrooms will now have the support they need to put this into practice. We are all familiar with what is happening to our state, to the west in Mississippi, which many folks are referring to as the Mississippi Miracle. And so some of these practices we're now implementing in the state to address the fact that 70% of our kids are not reading on grade level. And we know that if kids are not reading on grade level, our communities will not thrive, and our children must know how to read in order to succeed in future endeavors. There are also many other concerns I and my Democratic colleagues continue to work on every day at the Capitol. This work does not stop when session ends. The governor has until May 12th to sign or veto legislation. One piece of legislation that we are urging all folks in our communities to reach out to the governor to ask him to veto is House Bill 369, which is a racist and unconstitutional attack on the 5 metro counties. Specifically, this bill was designed to ensure that our DAs are no longer listed as partisan roles on our ballots. There are over 50 DAs across the state. This bill targets just 5, and all 5 of those happen to be Black Democratic women. We fought to protect the integrity of public schools and ensure that funding is not diverted in ways that weaken them. At the same time, I remain committed to strong, high-quality charter schools as part of a balanced education system, and that remains a priority that I will continue to work on in the next session. While uncertainty at the federal level continues, I'm also focused on pushing back against federal overreach, which affects Georgia, and making our state's voice and local control, making sure that local control is respected. I've been engaged in ongoing discussions and fights to ensure that proposed ICE detention facilities do not expand, and raising the concerns that many of our local communities raise when this is a possibility, as well as addressing questions about our election administration and ballots process in Fulton County and across our state. These obviously are very serious issues, and accountability and oversight are important. It is very possible that we will be called back into session to address our election system, but I can assure you we will continue to fight against attempts to sow chaos in our elections as we do try to address the fact that as of July 1st, the way that we do elections in Georgia will be against the law. That was passed a couple years ago. Another major area that the legislature failed to act on is data centers. I introduced legislation to require their energy and water usage be made public. That bill, as well as any other quality bill that would address these data centers popping up in our communities, did fail, but we will continue that fight when we return in January. And I just want to say that as your state senator, please reach out to our office if there's anything that we can do to help you or the community to address issues that they're facing or any assistance that they need. Myself and my legislative aide are always here to help, especially as it relates to any state level agency, whether it be transportation or Medicaid or any other issue. And so with that, I will pause and allow my colleague who made it right off the debate stage here to come up and address you, and then we'll take some questions if you do have some.
Thank you so much, Senator Kemp. Representative Jackson.
Hello, Madam Mayor and Council.
Hello.
Yes, I am. I apologize for my tardiness. I was trying to do the good thing down in Atlanta, become your next governor. But, you know, I definitely agree with my 2 colleagues. And it's always great to stand beside them in the fight. And speaking of fight, Madam Mayor, you know, this session was contentious. When you have so many of us running statewide, both in the House and the Senate, it was very obvious that there was some political maneuvering happening. And unfortunately, our municipalities, like the city of Fairburn, gets caught up in the crossfire, and our citizens as a whole. And let me just give you an example. And please write this down because we may have this issue if Governor Kemp signs yes to these bills, right? I can tell you all about the good things that we did. For example, we added another $8 million to the budget to help our 644,000 children who are on SNAP, who need SNAP benefits. I can tell you that for next year, for those same population, make sure our children are not going to bed hungry and waking up going to school hungry, we added another $13 million. There's some great things that we did in the budget. But what concerns me, Madam Mayor and Council, is what's going to happen to our municipalities like Fairburn, because we passed some unfunded bills. We continue to make these mandates upon our cities without any funding. And you all are going to have to make some significant decisions. As Fairburn continue to grow, you're going to get this legislation from the General Assembly, and you're going to ask, okay, where are we going to get the money from? Because all cities are not created equal. And we have to stop thinking that all cities grow at the same rate as Atlanta. Yes, Fairburn is growing, but not at the same rate as Atlanta. And so everything cannot be Atlanta-centric. And so a bill like this, for example, Senate bill, and nothing against my dear fraternity brother, but a lot of bad bills came out of the Senate. Right? We found ourselves trying to help our Senate colleagues. But for example, Senate Bill 552, Madam Mayor, this bill creates more discrimination. The last time I checked, DEI is not an enemy. When we spell out DEI, that's why I hate using the acronym DEI. It says diversity, equity, and inclusion, much like your council. There's strength in diversity. But we have a bill here, and I'm not going to bore you all, but I want you to take a look at Senate Bill 552. So if we're going to place this kind of situation in the school system, and my dear sister, she's on the education committee, and my dear brother is on the education committee. I am not, but we're getting inputs from our educators, Madam Mayor. They're going to look at this and say, well, what do you want me to do with this? Yes, we have children that are black, white, Asian, all sorts. They move into Fairburn. Y'all going to look at Senate Bill 552 and say, what in the world General Assembly is doing? Why is this such a thing when we have children who need to be fed? Why we need nurses who are working 2 or 3 jobs? We got school teachers working 2 or 3 jobs. We got a minimum wage of $5.15, and if you are in a restaurant, you get $2.13. We got some real issues. This is not one of them. Diversity, equity, inclusion is not a problem for this country, especially as a retired military officer. My dear colleagues already mentioned about House Bill 369, so I won't belabor that point. Then we got another one that we might have to go into a special session because we couldn't take care of this QR code. Hey, have you talked about the QR code yet? Okay. So come 1 July, 5 years ago, in their infinite wisdom, they said, this QR code is illegal. Well, we just spent $104 million of our tax dollars to get these 27,000 machines because they said it's the best. It's technological sound. And now the QR code is illegal? We done spent $104 million on this? So we may have to go into a special session. That's going to require for us to go back to fix this problem, because if we don't, our general election in November will be unconstitutional based on this law. That's an unfunded mandate. This is this is a problem. And then the last point that I want to highlight that can very well impact City of Fairburn is House Bill 295. We're going after homelessness, where a citizen in the City of Fairburn could say, Madam Mayor, we got too much homelessness downtown in the City of Fairburn, and you are required, in accordance with House Bill 295, to make that disappear. Madam Mayor, I don't know if y'all building a homeless shelter, but this bill will hold this august body liable because a citizen in the City of Fairburn can sue this august body. So now we're going to leave this open subjectively, where citizens of Fairburn can just walk in here and say, litigation is coming. Then you're going to have the attorney and everybody else jumping through hoops because House Bill 295. My colleagues already talked about third graders and fourth graders. I won't belabor the point. Listen, and then my last point is this, Madam Mayor and Council. We didn't help you all on this data center issue. There are 93 data center projects going up. Yours truly introduced a bill to place a moratorium. They say, let's study this. Let's give the mayor and council of these 536 cities, the 159 counties, an opportunity to evaluate. Because it's not just about the tax digest. We're responsible for the health of our citizens. We're responsible for water consumption, energy usage. And you're going to start having citizens, Madam Mayor, coming in here, coming to this very podium and saying, why in the world Georgia Power, EMC, whomever, got to put this 200-foot, I call them antennas, in front of my house. Listen, Miss Smith, she's 78. She's 78. Her husband died 6 years ago. Her house was bought and paid for. She can't move. But Georgia Power gave her $75,000 to put an antenna in her front lawn, 20 feet from her home. I know what it's going to do to her. She can't move. $75,000 if something should go wrong with her health. It won't be enough. So we did not do the right thing as a state with these data centers. I get it. Everybody can use ChatGPT. I just started learning how to use ChatGPT. You probably can tell by my social posts. I'm learning how to use ChatGPT. But we have the largest data center in District 68, QTS, in the nation. QTS, right here. We're about to build Microsoft data center in District 68. So I'm hearing firsthand from my constituency, our friends, our families, our neighbors, firsthand. Everybody like to tout what they can do for our tax digest. I get that. But there's nothing that can replace Ms. Johnson, Mr. Smith, your family, your neighbor. So with that, Madam Mayor, my colleagues already did a phenomenal job on the other bills I was going to talk about. Listen, 300 bills going to Governor Kemp's desk. Anybody want to take a guess how many Democratic bills are going to his desk? What are the 300?
50.
4.
0.
So when we want to reach across the aisle, we do as Democrats. They just don't reciprocate that. We have great ideas in the House and the Senate. We voice your concerns every session. It's just not reflective until we flip the House and flip that governor's mansion. So with that, I yield for any questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, I see we have questions, and if you'll let us know whom you want to answer the question, please. Okay, Councilman Smallwood, I will start with Councilwoman Davis, because she let me know first, and then you will follow her.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to say to all of you, thank you for what you do under the dome. I know it's not easy, but we appreciate the work that you do. For Representative Glaze, we go back a long ways. Our kids went to Landmark and graduated and stuff, and the things that you're involved in under the dome, you were already involved in prior to becoming a representative, because that's your heart: education, kids, scholarships. You got a lot of scholarships to Landmark seniors and everything. So I appreciate your commitment to that, and you always do a great job in those areas. But I do want to ask some questions in reference to this property tax thing. I mean, it's like it just came out of the woodworks, and it was fierce and stuff. And I always think, especially, and I am going to be partisan, especially on the Republican side, what's the agenda? And about 3 or 4 years ago, I understood how these investors would come in into subdivisions, and it was in the north at one point, and there was a lot of publicity about it, and I knew it was going to eventually come to Atlanta. And I do believe, I don't have the exact stats on it, but I think it's more than 50% investors own property in this metro Atlanta area. And the only thing I can think of as to why they're so focused on property taxes now, I mean, I've never seen anything like it before. I spoke with Representative Glaze, I think myself and Smallwood, in reference to those bills when you were here once before. And I think I remember you saying that they had the votes. And I was like, and we need to start praying. But I really believe that it is the investors that they're trying to protect, the investors of all these properties. Probably come to them and say, hey man, we can't pay all these property taxes. What's with the property taxes here? So that's the focus. It's not to eliminate property taxes for me, because I'm retired, you know, my house is paid for and stuff. It's not because of me, because that's been the case for a long time. So I want to know, what are you all doing in reference to this? Because this is not healthy. It's not healthy for the state.
Who's your question directed to?
All of them. They're all under the dome, all of them. Whoever wants to answer.
I'll start first, because that's exactly why I started there. That was one of the worst bills, and I told you what it could do. But I told you we defeated it. We defeated it, and we came back with something, and I want to say the Senate, and then what we had at the end was we put another group together to come back, and what they've done is to say that property taxes will not go up above 3% or the cost of living. So one of the things that does is that does help us now with our property tax. It does have a ceiling, and they were defeated. So let's just, I think you got something, and you kind of excavated it there, but they didn't win, and so that's one of the things that happened, and we didn't win. And when you don't live in a community, no, you don't want to pay taxes. You know why? You don't want to see services, and you don't care about the educational system if you're just what, a corporate owner. That's my 2 cents.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and I will share, you know, as Representative Glaze shared, we were able to kill the first version of this in the Senate. They came back with a skinnier version that was eventually passed. There is a possibility that this is unconstitutional, though, because revenue and tax bills are supposed to start in the House. What they did through political maneuvering, is took a House bill, stripped it in the Senate, and added this language, and that's how it was passed. So it's very possible that this bill is unconstitutional, even if the governor does sign it. I know that there's some question there, so we're waiting to see what he decides to do, and then I'm sure there will be some lawsuits that will, pop up as a result if he does sign that bill into law.
Okay,
Thanks
thank you.
for sharing that.
Thank you.
I touch and agree, as they say in church. But the exact number, Councilwoman Davis, is 30%. 30% of private equity, and I refuse to use their name, but they have $2 trillion portfolio.
Oh, I know, yeah, I can imagine.
They have a $2 trillion portfolio. And so they just want to add the high yield homes of Atlanta, specifically Buckhead. That's the reason why they wanted to have Buckhead its own city. See, this is the long game, okay? And so, but it's 30% right now. We don't need that number to grow. We needed to go the other way, and we need to decrease it. And as it was already stated, we introduced some legislation to put a cap on private equities to purchase a house for $300,000, and then a month later trying to flip it for $600,000. That manufacturing the marketplace.
Or rented for 5,000.
Right.
Yeah, the rental break, that's why they've gone up.
That's right.
Crazy. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I will yield. I have more, but I won't ask any more. You gotta let my colleagues-
Councilman Smallwood.
Okay, first, as Councilwoman Davis said, thank you all. I feel really good about who represents me. You guys are fighting hard, so thank you all for that. But it's for Representative Jackson. As an educator, talk to me a little bit more about that 552. What actually is it? I know you referenced it, and it's bad, it's racist, it's, I think, gets rid of the DEI, but what actually is it?
Yeah, so for example, let's take a third grader or a fourth grade teacher, and you want to talk about, I don't know, Atlanta, what happened in Atlanta in 1906, the massacre. Or you want to talk about what happened up in Lake Lanier, right? I mean, so this bill was trying to get ahead of what's happening this year, the 250th year of this country. So they do not want to talk about the 250th year of this country without talking about the horror, history of this country. So that's one specific, and when you hear the author, when they come up to the well, as my colleagues would tell you, they come up to the well and they're trying to give us this presentation, and we start asking them questions, we're like, aha. That's the line that we need to read between the lines, right? This is the United States. I served this country for 22 years. I'm a retired commander. But that doesn't mean that the Navy at one time was very racist.
Yes.
Blacks, like myself, could only be a cook and shine shoes for the officers. And so that's the problem with that bill. That's a small piece of that bill. I just think when you start asking our educators to walk a fine line, what they can and cannot say in the classroom around diversity, equity, inclusion, you're confusing the child, you're confusing our community, you're confusing our society. You cannot wipe away what took place 250 years ago. And that bill is trying to do that.
And one quick other thing. So
Yes, sir.
I think I hear some rumbles about it too. They try to criminalize you if you then do it, right?
That's correct. And so teachers are not getting paid enough already, so now you want to garnish their wages too. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, yes, Councilwoman Benson?
Representative Jackson, actually, if you don't mind coming back, because my question was on SB 552. If I may, I'm going to read the summary really quick, because I can see the hidden messages within it, and then ask my question. First reader summary, a bill to be entitled an act to amend subpart 2A of part 1 of Article 16 of Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated related to clubs and organizations so as to provide equal access to public schools for students engaging in political or philosophical expression, to authorize organization of partisan and nonpartisan student groups and gatherings, to provide for school disclaimers of sponsorship, to prohibit discrimination based on the content of student speech within a limited open forum, to provide for the maintenance of order and discipline, to provide for a short title, to provide for definitions, to provide for related matters, to provide for an effective date, to repeal conflicting laws, and for other purposes. So what this layperson here looks like is that it is attacking every single aspect within any school. So any courses that deal with U.S. history, that deal with Georgia citizenship, that deal with civics, that deal with any of the social studies courses for starters, where open discussion is supposed to be encouraged and where essays are required of students, where curriculum specifically asks for a research-based project on it, et cetera, is automatically wiped out. And so are there, in this all-encompassing bill, any guidelines as to where the students end up paying for going into research, where the teachers end up paying for grading such research, where the teachers end up paying if a discussion is open, are they supposed to just shut it down immediately? Where parents that are coming in to speak on career day could experience repercussions, et cetera. It sounds to me like all of this is just basically go to school, keep your mouth shut, write down what we tell you to write down, and we're going to wipe out this, that, and the third. Am I reading that correctly?
You know, Honorable Benson, thank you for walking us through that whole process. This was a very lengthy debate for us. And I asked the author of this bill, I said, you cannot talk about Abraham Lincoln without talking about Frederick Douglass, too. You cannot talk about civil rights, voting rights, without talking about Ida B. Wells, Coretta Scott King, Dr. King, Rosa Parks. This country is what it is. We had to be the ones to build and bend this arc. I asked the author, Councilwoman Benson, I said, what will happen to African American courses, AAP? What will happen to our African American teachers who went to school all of their life? What happened to them, their credentials? And the author said, well, maybe we can change their enculturation. So this is all-encompassing. You cannot talk about Black History Month in February, Councilwoman Benson, without using the word black. You can't talk about women's history in March without saying the word woman. It impacts everything and more, which you already just outlined. And I could get a little wonkish, and I know my colleagues would tell you, I get passionate about this. My wife and I, we have 7 children, 4 girls and 3 boys. There's no way for my family or yours, and I have two grandsons, one's 6 and the other one's 8 months old, I have to tell them the full history of this country. It's the only way we're going to learn. More importantly, that this is the only way we're going to make sure that we don't repeat in the future the past. If we start abolishing, and so this bill was also in direct correlation because they also know the Democratic Party, we have a problem with Confederate statues. Our taxpayer dollars are paying for some symbols under that gold dome that every day colleagues and I walk through and we look at everybody but us. So we say, if you're going to tell the history, tell the full history. And so that bill is designed to basically eradicate the contributions, eradicate the conversation, to even not talk about someone like a Dr. King or Coretta Scott King, not even talk about Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, not talk about anybody as if we just happened. And that's the problem I have with that bill. There's nothing wrong with diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Councilman Perry, and we have 6 minutes, 4 minutes, actually. Okay.
As a graduate of Georgia State African American Studies, this hits home. It really does. The contributions of African Americans across the diaspora are immeasurable to the success and the foundation of this country. My question is not towards that, but I absolutely please whatever we can do to support you and the work that y'all doing there. Please reach out and let us know. Do whatever we can to support that. My question specifically the data centers and the data centers, and the ICE detention center. Over on Social Circle, they already have a facility over there. The only reason that facility is not up and running, to my understanding, is Social Circle won't give them water. What can we do in our community as we continue to grow here in Fairburn? We have residents of all creeds, colors, religions. Is there anything that we can do to limit, discourage detentions, ICE detention centers here, or the processes that they may have as they operate in our communities? Much akin to KKK, blind, covered your head, kicking in doors, et cetera, et cetera. Is there anything that we can do here to protect our community and our citizens is my question.
Well, I'm going to go back quickly and say that whole bill was debated, and it's debatable whether it is even constitutional to even actually put it into play. Doesn't mean that everything that comes through and that's voted is really going to actually become law of the land, because DOE's attorneys are going to test it, and it's going to be tested. And there are many, many organizations, ACLU, a lot of organizations are waiting to sue on several bills, and that's just one of them. They know it's not going to work, just like last year when they tried to take AP African American history and not give it to us as an AP course. We only just debated that because we knew that the law stood behind us, and that was in my committee. So that went through. We had no problems. I'm pretty sure 552 is not going to be what you think, because it can't be. It's illegal, right, on federal level. And so whatever states' laws come up, if they infringe our rights as on the federal level, they cannot fully be implemented. But they try, and that's one of those ugly bills that they tried. Data centers, we tried to take away the incentive, which is, giving them the tax rebate. But at local levels, what you can do is continue to say, and you can put a moratorium on how much water or electricity you will sell an entity. Immediately, you can take that big data center, and there you can make sure that you don't give them enough water. You don't provide it. You say we're not going to provide any one entity more than a certain number of gallons of water per day and electricity. Now, be sure they're going to come back and sue you. But remember, you're starting a precedent, and you've got Social Circle who's already out there, and there are other states who are already out there and have already put themselves out there. So we're not walking alone when you put caps on how much a business can use of your services that you provide to the citizens and the businesses each month or each day. You can do it that way.
And the reason why I'm asking this is I believe it was a night ago when they just passed another couple of $1 billion, right?
Excuse me, Councilman Perry. It is 7 o'clock. Madam Clerk, is it permissible to allow a continuation of the work session for 15 minutes? And then we will gavel in for the councilman meeting at 7:15? Is that allowed?
Madam Mayor.
I would
the city
discuss
attorney
that
virtually.
with the city
Yes.
I'd like to defer to the city attorney.
Okay.
virtually.
All right. Yes, please. Did you hear? Yes. Madam City Attorney, is it permissible for us to delay the start of the council meeting? Can we gavel the council meeting at 7:15?
You can do, oh, excuse me, my voice is out. You can actually proceed that way.
And so I need to call for a motion to do so?
Call for a motion to extend the work session for 15 minutes and to start the actual council meeting at 7:15.
Yes. So may I have a motion to gavel in the council meeting at 7:15?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, it has been moved and second that we will gavel in the council meeting at 7:15. We may now continue the discussion in work session. Now you may proceed, Councilman Perry.
Again, another couple of $1 billion was transferred to ICE to fund that organization. 37 years of service, they now receive more funding than the United States Marine Corps. I did 12 years in the Corps. That is astronomical to me. So that's why I'm asking with regards to that and the effects of that here in our community.
Yeah, so Honorable Perry, thank you for your service. So I agree with my colleague, but I will also caution us that we're seeing a lot of unconstitutional stuff at the federal level, and it's precipitated down to the state level.
Yeah.
Honorable Perry, the country that you and I serve, I can't recognize right now. There's no way on God's green earth where ICE is getting more dollars than Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine. No way. We're seeing a lot of unconstitutional stuff. You have judges who are not even abiding by the rule of law. So yes, we continue to have these safeguards. Yes, we play by the rules, but we cannot have our blinders on, Madam Mayor. And the buck stops at the municipal level. This is where the citizens, this is where government starts, right here. I'm just being honest. Government starts right here. Because citizens are going to come through that door and they see the mayor and city council members. That's who they see. Very seldom they see us. A lot of folks think we're up in Washington, D.C., right? And they definitely don't see those who are in Washington, D.C. So I always say the impact of government is the government that's closest to you. And so the question around detention centers, that's problematic. You all control the ordinances. Yes, you're going to have some litigation. Yes, all that. But you're on the front line, Madam Mayor. Y'all on the front line. We're only in session January through April. You can all ask us to write a bill right now, and it means absolutely nothing. And you may or may not be able to get in touch with your United States Senator and your congressional members. It's right here. So yes, there's some unconstitutional stuff happening. Yes, we have to defend and make sure those things that our citizens ask us to do when they elected us. There's no reason why Georgia right now, ladies and gentlemen, is the largest detention center in the United States. We're setting the wrong precedents. I get it. The current governor, he wants to run for president. Okay, I'm just being honest. So let us not have our blinders on. Yes, we cannot legislate through litigation. Let me say it again. We can't legislate through litigation because those are taxpayer dollars. We have to deal with litigation.
Hey, real quick, Councilman Perry, I just want to share that in February, City of South Fulton passed a resolution, updated their zoning to prohibit the conversion of warehouses for the use of detention centers. And just this month, Atlanta did the same. So that is something that you all can look into to consider for the city of Fairburn.
Thank you.
Other questions? Councilwoman Nichols?
Yes, hi. Thank you all for this very informative session. Representative Glaze, you kind of touched on it. It was around the data centers. And I do think Fairburn is doing a good job around putting them where they should be. But when we think of us as a region with other municipalities, how do we come together to really solidify what the rules are around data centers? You kind of mentioned it around, we can, put in different things of what the rules and restrictions are, but it's not just Fairburn, it's our neighboring cities. How are they moving? How do we come together as one to say, like, this is what we all should be doing? We need to move in as a unit. And then I know that you all, things were challenging as far as like getting a bill passed around it. Is there next steps? How are we going to keep pushing that momentum forward?
So next year, we'll come back with the same thing.
Same thing, okay.
We'll come back and we'll say we need to take away the data center tax incentives. We'll do that every year, just like we do trying to increase the state minimum wage. We come back every year with several bills. So we'll do that and we'll keep doing that. But again, a data center needs water and electricity. You are your own electricity source. You can put that into law and say that you are not going to have any entity go above a certain amount of watts usage per day as well as water. So I do think, and what Atlanta has done and what City of South Fulton has done, yes, you can do those things. As far as this nation and the laws that we have now, they started with litigation. To keep them, we will continue to have to litigate when they make bills that are bad.
That's right.
And so it's a part of it. We litigate, we legislate. We litigate and we legislate. It is a dance, but we must do both at the same time. We don't dance with the left foot. You dance with 2 feet if you got them, left and right. So we legislate and we litigate together. That's a part of what we have to do. This country was built on that. Laws were built on that. Our ability to even be here today was built on that. And yes, we fight, and we will continue to fight. We did move away from some things that were really bad, and we pushed some things that were really good. But I need you to know when you leave here that there are some things you need to take advantage of while you fight. So if one hand is back here, I need you advancing because there's some things that we need to do to advance our children. Literacy, numeracy, financial knowledge, those things we put in bills, they all passed this year. They are all funded mandates. And so our schools will now begin to do those things. Make sure that it's happening. Make sure that our schools are safe. There's no reason why somebody got killed on Palmetto Elementary School lot, and there is not an SRO in that building now. And we're going to Dr. Looney about that because that building is too big for elementary school. It was a high school, and an SRO was not there till 8 minutes later. That put the onus on the city. That could have been the city of Fairburn. and tax dollars paying for something that school dollars should pay for. So we stay in the fight. We're all fighting. We're fighting together. We have different lens and different spaces about how we do things in different areas because some of us are experts in some things and others are not. And so I have to lean on anything that's related to our veterans. We look up and if Jackson's in the room, we got to say, is that a go? We got to look on the chart and see if he's voting it up or he's going to say something. And the same when our senator comes over about education, we're in discussion. So we work together to try to advance what's progressive for all of us. If some of us win, that's not good enough. We need to make laws where all of us win, where we put each other in a win-win situation.
Thank you.
Amen.
Any more questions? Yes, Councilwoman House, oh, okay, just a
If I
moment.
can
Let him speak.
address something that Councilwoman Nichols shared. You know, I live right up the street in the city of South Fulton, and you can be in city of South Fulton on one block, Fairburn another, and Union City in another. You know, and considering, you know, we do have local control and have to respect home rule, this is something that I am exploring because, you know, one city can have an issue with what another city does because it's right behind somebody's house or business. So that is something that I'm looking into. So I'd love to have some conversation with you outside of this as we look into possible legislation for next year. You know, love to get some insight and address some of the issues that folks are having when neighboring cities may do things that are not the most pleasing to another city.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilwoman Hauser?
Okay. I do have a question about the sales tax. Representative Glaze, were you the one that talked a little bit about the sales tax? I just need a little more clarity on the piece about the sales tax. And thank you all for being on the front line for all of us. Thank you so much.
Well, what they have agreed to in Senate Bill 476 is to allow the local sales tax to be set up. And so that's going to be you guys being able to actually set that up and make money to come into the city so that you can make up for dollars that you may lose as far as homestead. And that's going to be something, it's in the law. If he signs it in the law, then it is going to be that. But again, it'll be up to you guys, so whether you use it and how you will use it. But it's supposed to reduce homestead taxes in the city. That's what it said, that we're giving you that right to do.
Okay.
I hope that
Thank
makes
you.
sense.
Yes, follow-up question, Representative Glaze. And thank you, Councilwoman Hauser, for bringing that issue. Representative Glaze, are you able to tell us then how are we allowed to increase the sales tax?
Yes.
Is that, okay, and is there a cap on how much we can increase? Is there a one-to-one match in loss of homestead?
Well, they're saying up to 3% or the cost of living increase. Right now is what the law says.
Okay, 3% for so we could do an additional 3% on the sales tax
On the
rate,
sales tax, again, till you get to up to 7.
up to 7.
Still the,
Okay.
still the.
And this truly puts an additional burden on small municipalities, or growing municipalities like ours, you know, in terms of, you know, having to increase the sales tax and the cost of goods for which we're having to buy. You know, so I mean, we're already paying increase in gasoline, and then you're going to add food and that to it as well.
I would caution that we're in a war and that we have not seen the full resilience of what's happening. I would caution any city and any local municipality or county to understand that your budget today is not going to be the same budget in 9 months. Because what the Southeast Asia is experiencing now, that's gonna come to us. We haven't felt the full shock of it. And so goods and manufacturing, things that we would normally have on the shelves, you're going to begin to see higher prices and less goods as this year continues and this war continues. So I would just caution you to be careful about how you expand now and what you put on the backs of your residents in taxes. I would be ultra conservative until we finish 2026.
Representative Jackson? Thank you, Representative Glaze.
The 2 points I'd like to add to this discussion, Madam Mayor, for your consideration.
And this will be the last comment. We're at 7:15.
So Governor Kemp has not signed that bill, and I don't believe he's going to sign it. It's going to create a $6 to $8 billion hole in the budget. And economists are warning him. And the second point, there are 536 cities. There's 159 counties. You all don't have the same streams of revenue, right? So what you may try to pull one lever over here and try to adjust from another lever, as my colleague eloquently stated, you may not have that same lever, right? The city of Fairburn is very different than Savannah, very different than Atlanta, very different than Columbus. So you may have tourism here or shipping in Brunswick, but you don't have it in another city. And so that bill, the economists are warning us, saying it's going to create a $6 to $8 billion shortfall. We only have a $14.3 billion surplus. We just signed a $38.5 billion budget. And so we got to, and we're still dealing with tariffs. And as it was stated, we're still dealing with this unconstitutional war. So there's so many factors involved, so many factors. And so, yes, proceed with caution, but I would suggest you call 404-656-1776 and tell Governor Kemp not to sign that bill.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And this discussion will continue. We will invite you back later this summer, because I know you guys are meeting and having discussions about what the agenda will be for the next session. So we'll be in contact regarding that. So thank you again. We really appreciate it, really appreciate it. Yes. All right. It is 7:17. We now call to order the City Council meeting of the City of Fairburn, April 27, 2026, 7:17 p.m. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
The Honorable Anatavia M. Benson.
Present.
The Honorable Linda J. Davis.
Present.
The Honorable Fannie Mae Hauser.
Excuse me, hold on. Sorry. Yes, please. Okay. All right.
The Honorable Fannie Mae Hauser.
Present.
The Honorable Shanita Nichols.
Present.
The Honorable Samuel Perry.
Present.
And the Honorable Mayor Pro Tem Ulysses J. Smallwood.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. We will have the invocation by Pastor Ingrid Thompson with Harvest Rain International. Please stand if you are willing and able.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We could all bow our heads for a word of prayer. Father, we come before you this evening just giving you all the honor, all the praise, and all the glory, saying that we are grateful, Father, and we reverence and acknowledge you are the source of all wisdom. You are the source of all guidance and authority. Father, this evening, we lift up the mayor, the city council, and the leadership team of Fairburn. We ask that you will grant unto them wisdom today as they guide Fairburn's growth, strengthening public safety, advancing economic development, supporting infrastructure and public works, Lord. We ask that while you are here in our midst, that you will give them the wisdom to navigate the different strategies that are needed, Father, for the times to come. We ask, Lord, that you will bless our public safety officials, our police officers, our firefighters, Lord, our first responders. Keep them safe and give them discernment in every situation. We lift up this meeting and agenda before you today, and we ask that you will guide every decision, every discussion, and every vote. Give us wisdom tonight, Lord, respect and shared vision as we continue to move forward in allowing this city to succeed. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with with liberty and justice for all. So several weeks ago, I believe it was 2 meetings ago, this body adopted a civility pledge, and we've become intentional about being a city of civility, hence the plaque that we have here on the wall. I'd like to read the civility pledge, which we will read each council meeting. The way we govern ourselves is often as important as the positions we take. Our collective decisions will be better when differing views have had the opportunity to be fully vetted and considered. All people have the right to be treated with respect, courtesy, and openness. We value all input. We commit to conduct ourselves at all times with civility and courtesy to each other, not only here on this dais, but out in the audience as well. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Mayor, we do not have any presentations or proclamations, so we're next to the adoption of the city council agenda.
Thank you. Members of council, you've been given the agenda for this evening. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
You had a,
Oh, yes, Mayor. I would like to make a motion that we defer the discussion of the classification and compensation study until the fiscal 2027 budget discussion that we will have.
is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and second that we defer agenda item number 2, classification and comp study, to be discussed during the budget hearings for fiscal year FY27. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, so that is removed from item number 2, class and comp study, has been removed from the agenda. Are there any other modifications to the agenda?
I have a question. It's
Yes.
not a modification, it's more about the compensation study. Is it possible that they can have other options as well? Can we ask staff to come with other options for A, B, and C?
Yes, we can have that discussion.
Okay.
Yes, okay. All right, then, the agenda is as presented, minus item number 2, classification and comp study. Is there a motion to adopt the revised agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any opposition? Okay.
Just one point of order,
Yes.
Madam Mayor. Just because we had moved and seconded the adoption of the agenda, do we need to go back and remove that?
We did.
Okay.
We did.
Okay.
And we approved that, and we approved adoption of the revised agenda.
Understood.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, next item, Madam Clerk.
The next item is the public comments, and we only have 2 speakers.
All right, 30 minutes shall be available for public comments. Each speaker shall be limited to 3 minutes. However, a speaker may transfer his or her 3 minutes to another speaker, but no speaker shall be permitted to speak for more than 6 minutes. Further, in the event, if more than 10 speakers desire to speak, which is not relevant tonight. So issues raised at this time are generally referred to the city administrator for review. Responses will be provided later. Madam Clerk, call the first speaker.
The first speaker is Mr. Ernie Brooks.
Good evening, City Council, Madam Mayor. I am so glad you get to see me once again, and I seeing you guys. You know, time is short when you are 70. everything after that is gravy, as they say. Some of you have a lot of time ahead of you. Some of us, not so much. But I'd like to just mention a couple of things that have been on my mind. Going to work is like going to the battlefield. You could be killed on the job, missing in action, or wounded. And I know it's a risk every day. It's a gamble just getting up and fighting this traffic to get to where you need to be. However, I know you've deferred the action item on the agenda for the pay increase for city employees, and I'd just like to give my opinion, if I may, that there's not enough money in the world to pay me to be a firefighter or a police officer. And instead of proclamations and pats on the back and, hey, good job, y'all, let's do the right thing with our city employees, especially the police and firefighters, and go with option A, if the budget will allow it. I don't need to speak on behalf of people who aren't here, but as you know, there were some pension plan improvements. And my understanding, and I may be speaking about something I don't know, my understanding is there's two pension plans, a defined benefit plan and the defined contribution plan. The city no longer contributes or matches employees' contributions with that plan. However, if we've improved the pension benefit for current city council members and some administrative staff, why not look after your retirees that are sort of in the category of servers at restaurants, $2.35 an hour, not even a livable wage because they depend on tips. But look at retirees, people that have served this. There's a group of individuals, I don't know what the amount of retirees is, but they haven't got an improvement financially. And if you could appoint people to the pension committee and look at it, I know that money is commingled with other municipalities in the state, and it's a secondary retirement program. And I just think that if we could help retirees that have paid their dues, have come to work, and did their due diligence to make Fairburn move forward and be where it is. So please take that in consideration when you're going over the action item number 2 that's been deferred. And I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
The next speaker is Mr. Lee Walton.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
There were some powerful leadership voices at this podium earlier, and I'm humbled to be in the same place. One of the leaders mentioned concerns or issues that sometimes happen with adjacent jurisdictions, and you've heard me speak before about the industrial rezoning on Spence Road. I'm going to read this to hopefully efficiently get through it. So the Spence Road Industrial Development rezoning was approved by South Fulton a month ago in response to the developer's lawsuit. Now the developer is formally asking the Fulton County Development Authority for bond inducements for the $220 million project. It's on the authority's agenda for tomorrow, April 28th. Fairburn residents would sincerely appreciate the city formally opposing this bond inducement and immediately communicating that to the Development Authority. Development Authority bond inducement should be reserved for projects that are demonstrated to be extraordinary in a positive manner, creating a great number of quality jobs or otherwise accomplishing something with unique community benefits that warrant public funds being invested. In an economic sense, this is just another warehouse project in our region where we are well supplied with warehouses, many of them empty. Fairburn residents who have opposed this project for over a year believe it will be extraordinarily negative for the city. If this incompatible development cannot be stopped, we encourage Fairburn to do whatever possible to mitigate the negative impacts. Opposing the Development Authority bond inducements would communicate to concerned Fairburn residents that the city is on our side. We've been in this fight, not just Fairburn residents, City of South Fulton residents as well, for over a year now. And it is frustrating to spend so much time and have even greater threat on neighbors adjacent, on residents in Fairburn, on anybody who shares the streets with large trucks and so forth. So again, I'd encourage you to, I just learned about this today. I'd encourage you to recognize that this is on the Fulton County Development Authority's agenda for tomorrow. It is absolutely and 100% in Fairburn's rights and in your ballpark to oppose or comment as you determine appropriate, but to, as a Fulton County municipality, to communicate to the Development Authority about this issue. Thank you very much.
Next speaker.
Mayor, that's all the speakers we have.
Okay, thank you. Next item.
The next item is approval of the minutes.
Yes, members of council, you've been provided the minutes of the April 13, 2026 meeting. May I have a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, that motion carries. Next item?
The next item is number 3 on the regular agenda, the USIC Locating Services LLC Contract Amendment Number 1. The recommendation is for mayor and council to approve amendment number 1 to the Underground Facilities Locating and Marking Service Agreement to amend Section 8.1 to include an annual price escalator of 3%.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
This item before you, this was a contract oversight. I guess it happened when the original contract was signed back in October of 2019. There was a line there with a % symbol next to it that was supposed to have been filled in that apparently never got done. They did an audit and discovered this and called us and wanted to rectify it. So that's basically what I'm bringing before you today was an amendment to that contract to include the 3% annual escalator, which is their standard. As far as for our utilities department, it equated to about right around $3,000 a year. Our bills fluctuate every month because they get charged per locate. So that will vary on a monthly basis, but not by a wide margin. So this is basically kind of a cleanup from something, and they are not going back to try to recoup everything from 2019 that skipped us 3% for those years. This is just kind of cleaning it up, and it will start from now going forward.
Okay, you have before you a request from mayor and council to approve the approval of amendment number 1 to the Underground Facilities Locating and Marking Service Agreement to amend Section 8.1 to include an annual price escalator of 3%. Is there a motion?
Questions?
Okay, we have to bring it to the floor. Is there a
So
motion?
moved, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion? Yes. Councilman Perry? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Who was first? Okay, go ahead,
Perry,
Councilman
go ahead.
Perry. Mhm.
So it's 3%. It says annual, so is that this year only? Or is that, this
No,
is
it's
gonna,
every year 3%.
how long's the remainder balance of the contract?
It's actually right now, I think it's in an annual renewal basis right now. So if we go to different contractor, obviously that would change. But for now, it's just until we change to somebody else.
And this would take effect,
Once this is signed, it would take effect.
immediately for the remainder of the contract, which ends,
It does not currently have an end date. I believe it's on an annual, it went through the initial contract, and now it's on an annual renewal until we opt out.
well, I guess my question is, are we in the middle of the annual renewal period and they're gonna get this 3,000, or are we?
So the original contract was signed October, so I would assume it would go through October of this year.
Their annual, it was initially signed October 14th of 2019. The contract includes annual renewals each year. The intention in 2019 was for this 3% annual escalator to be included in the contract. That predates my time here. I'm not quite sure why that was not done. And so they've now come and recognized that that escalator was not included and are asking that it be considered at this juncture. I will tell you that we have other vendors for whom these types of escalators are also part of the contract, Waste, Waste Management, others. And so this is not unprecedented that these type of cost of living increases are included in these types of service contracts. In this instance, as the director explained, it was the intention to do so at the time that the contract was initiated, and apparently for whatever reason that did not occur.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilwoman Davis?
Yes, my question was very similar to Councilman Perry's. Okay, so it's an annual renewal.
Yes, ma'am.
So is it written in the contract when that renewal, or are we just assuming that the annual renewal is going to be the date that it was issued originally?
Yes, she just verified it.
It's October.
Ms. Chris is going to give you the language.
Oh, okay.
She had it, and I clicked the wrong button.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. So this agreement was executed October 14, 2019. It says this agreement shall be effective as of November 1st, 2019, and continue for a period of 12 months with automatic renewal for consecutive periods of 1 year on each expiration date unless sooner terminated pursuant to Section 4.3. Customers shall use USIC as its exclusive provider of locate services within the contract service area. Either party to this agreement can terminate this agreement upon 30 days prior written notice to the other. Upon such termination, the only liability will be that the customer for any services performed by USIC prior to the effective date of termination. And so because of the services, if we wanted to explore going with another provider, we would have to issue a RFP through our procurement process and bring that back before council. But as written, this contract automatically renews November 1st of each year unless there is a 30-day notice given in advance.
Okay, well, my question is then, can we not wait until November 1st to make this amendment, as opposed to doing it in the middle of the contract, not the middle, but earlier before the contract goes for the annual renewal? It's just kind of strange for me to just go into a contract and make some changes that should have been made originally.
Right.
So I'm just looking at is this the proper way to do it? Or should we wait to November 1st? I just need some legal guidance or contractual guidance on that.
Ms.
So-
Chris?
So we shared the amendment with the city attorney's office. And so the way it was explained to us by USIC, at the time when the agreement was executed back in 2019, the absence of the percentage amount was just an oversight. And so on their end, when they did their audits, they noticed that the Fairburn contract did not include that percentage. And so they're not asking to increase any additional base cost that's in that agreement. It's just adding that 3% escalator. And I would assume that it would come before council. I don't have to see how the language is written in the amendment, to come before council for approval the same way we do waste management every year when they come before us. But this was solely an oversight that, according to USIC, should have been included at the time that the agreement was executed. But whoever had that responsibility, it was absent.
Okay, so they're not asking for a retro.
No, ma'am.
And we're in the middle of the contract year.
Yes, ma'am.
So they're asking for the 3% to be effective. Would that be October 15th of whatever that date was, 2025, through October 31st, 2026? Given that that's the term of the contract?
November 1st.
November 1st, yes. Mhm.
So in our conversations, it was my understanding the 3% would be effective with the next invoice or the next services that we need. Now, we use USIC if there is a sinkhole or any type of digging that our utilities department has to do, they have to come out and locate those lines before they start the work. And so they weren't doing it on any work that was previously done, but once approved, if we need them in 2 weeks, they intend to add that 3% increase.
Okay, so it would be effective this point on. Okay, Councilwoman Nichols and then Councilman Smallwood.
I have a question around, the oversight was on USIC, right? Since 2019. So
None of us were here,
none of
none
us
were there.
Okay, so
Yes.
if there is this oversight, shouldn't we look for another alternative? Because, I mean, for us, it's good because we didn't have to pay from 2019, but that's still, as we think of just our integrity of like going with someone else who is going to be held us accountable for things moving forward. So why do we have to stick with these?
We do not have to.
Okay.
So the city always has the option to bid the service out. USIC is the largest utility locate firm in the country. I would tell you, most cities you come across use them for utility locate. They're well-known, long-established. I do believe this is likely more of an administrative oversight than a fatal flaw with the contractor. They're very commonly used. Most of you probably know what utility locate is. Before our staff or any contractor goes out to do anything that requires digging, the utility locate service goes out to identify where all the power lines, gas lines, utility lines are.
No digging.
We don't disrupt someone's service when performing those things. So USIC is a long-standing, very reputable contractor. I don't think this is indicative, at least in my experience, of a larger issue with them, as much as it is, and again, it predates all of us. For some reason, that I wasn't dotted, that T wasn't crossed at the time the contract was implemented. And for whatever it may be worth, they aren't trying to recoup what they would have gotten from all the other cities in those years. They're simply saying now that we are aware that it wasn't included, is it something we can address? It is the council's discretion when and if you want to suggest implementing that, whether that would be immediately or to defer this to the renewal of the contract. Those are options you can consider. But I did want to offer the context that we've used USIC, and I think likely the city was using them before 2019, very likely because they are that commonly used for utility locate services.
And then
Councilwoman Nichols still has the floor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So then my follow-up is, how long is this 3%? Like, next year, will it go up to 4%? And at that point, if they are starting to go up on this rate.
So if we do this amendment, that would lock them into that 3%.
But just the annual. So every year, we're gonna have a new contract, so they could go in.
They'd have to come back with
They're
it.
not- okay.
So this is a standard provision of the contract. It's an amendment to the contract. So it doesn't allow them each year to come back and ask for more.
So we're locked in at 3%?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Councilman Smallwood and then
So
David.
my question is about the 3% in the oversight. So are we just taking their word that it was an oversight, or is it written somewhere? I mean, otherwise, if it was written, it would be there, and none of us were there. So how is
No,
it?
actually, we were.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, okay.
We did have this reviewed by the city attorney. The language was there. It was reviewed by the city attorney's office, yeah. So we're not just taking their word for it. We did have the city attorney look at the original agreement. And so again, this seems to be an administrative issue as much as anything else.
It was actually there in the contract with a line to fill it in, just nobody filled it in.
So it was a line, but it's 3% in the contract.
No, it was not. That's why we're having to go back and do it now. It was supposed to have been filled in with the contract, and it was not.
But I'm still trying to see who agreed on the 3%. I mean, because I'm hearing that it was just a line, and I'm not trying to contest or anything, but just trying to, because they're telling us it was an oversight, but you're just seeing a line there that it was supposed to be, in their words, 3%, but we don't have anybody saying that on our end saying, oh, it should have been 3%. So it's kind of still like we're taking their word.
Correct.
3% is the standard they use for all cities.
I understand it's a
Right, and
standard,
so
but it's nothing we agreed to seemingly.
It was an administrative oversight. It's a standard part of their contracts with all the cities they work with, and so it doesn't fluctuate from city to city. They don't typically negotiate it at different percentages for each city. It's just a standard provision in the contract that they use for municipalities. Again, because I wasn't here in 2019, I can't quite tell you why it was missed at the time, but this is not something that is different from what they do in other cities. It's pretty standard and consistent as part of their service contracts. And for whatever reason, at the time, it was initiated in 2019. It just wasn't completed administratively the way it should have been at that time. But this is not something that's negotiated city by city, or 4% in one city and 2% in another city and 3%. It's a standard provision of their contracts.
Yes, Councilwoman Davis?
Yes. I'm not suggesting that we go and rebid this. USIC, as Mr. Phillips has stated, has been working with us, and they work with a lot of us. But I would just like a nice, clean, a clean change. You know, why can't they wait 7 more months, November 1st of 2026, to just do that 3% as opposed to arbitrarily doing it in October?
Well, no guarantee that we will renew. That's when the
Yeah.
contract ends, right? So we have a contract with them now.
Okay.
Okay? So we could decide November 1st to go with someone else.
All right.
Okay? So that's why they're asking for it. So that's still our discretion.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Right, there's been a motion for mayor and council to approve amendment number 1 to the underground facilities locating and marking service agreement to amend section 8.1 to include an annual price escalator of 3%. It has been motioned and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ah, yeah.
Mayor, they just made a motion to bring that to the floor.
The floor, we didn't.
Okay, okay. So is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and second to approve the amendment as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. Next item?
The next item, Mayor, is ratification of emergency procurement for Fayetteville Road Sewer Main Repair Project. This is a recommendation from Mayor and Council to approve the emergency procurement for the Fayetteville Road Sewer Road Repair Project in the amount of $191,110.
Okay, Mr. Martin?
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Our new council member, my name is John Martin, and I'm the utility manager for water, sewer, stormwater, and the compliance division. On February the 17th, 2026, sewer main pipeline at 212 Fayetteville Road needed an emergency replacement. Sewage had continuously surcharged into the resident, causing extensive damage. Our CCTV showed multiple collapsed areas in the pipeline that would have affected other homes along the collapsed areas of Fayetteville over a short period of time. Basic repair would not have been the resolution for this issue. Immediate replacement of the sewer main was imminent due to it being a public health hazard. The emergency replacement of the sewer main along Fayetteville Road was completed on March 27, 2026 by Civil Works, who had the lowest quote out of 4 utility contractors. The project included CCTVing of the existing sewer main to identify the collapsed areas, replacing 415 linear feet of sewer pipe, 1 manhole, and tie in to 5 resident properties and asphalt in the street. Staff recommend that Mayor and Council approve the ratification of the emergency procurement for the Fayetteville Road Sewer Repair Project in amount of $191,110. Are there any questions?
You have before you the ratification of an emergency procurement for Fayetteville Road Sewer Main Repair Project. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposition? That motion carries. Next item?
The next item, Mayor, is Community Development Block Grant, the CDBG agreement for Orchard and Strickland Street Pedestrian Improvements Project. This is a recommendation for Mayor and City Council to approve the Community Development Block Grant Agreement between Fulton County and the City of Fairburn in the amount of $180,000 for the Orchard and Strickland Street Pedestrian Improvements Project. Lester Thompson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
evening.
March 4th, 2026, the City of Fairburn was notified by the Fulton County Board of Commissioners by and through its Department of Community Development that an award was approved to the City of Fairburn for a community development block grant for the amount of $180,000 for the Orchard and Strickland Street pedestrian improvement project. In order to be reimbursed this $180,000 in future construction costs, the agreement must be approved. The project revenue will go into the CDBG Grants Fund revenue. This is revenue, so as such, staff recommends approval.
You have before you a community development block grant agreement for Orchard and Strickland Street pedestrian improvements bridge. The request is for mayor and city council to approve the block grant, CDBG block grant between Fulton County and the city of Fairburn in the amount of $180,000 for Orchard and Strickland Street pedestrian improvement projects. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any questions?
I just have a comment.
Yes.
I just want to say I'm excited to see us bringing in external funding for opportunities like this. So just thank you for that, because we all know that our budget is limited. So if we can rely on additional funding, that's always a good thing. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Hey, Mr. Thompson, you probably bring in.
Councilman Perry?
Oh, excuse me, I apologize. Apologize, Pat. Mr. Thompson, I do want to give you a pat on the back, congratulate you. I think you probably bring in millions of dollars to help our residents, to help our city look its best. And I really want to say thank you on behalf of the residents that's there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilwoman Davis?
I ditto that. Brings in millions of dollars, 4 or 5 million.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, you have before you the Community Development Block Grant Agreement for Orchard and Strickland Street. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? That motion carries. Next item, please.
Next item is IFB number 26-003, a contract award to DAF Concrete Incorporated for the Orchard and Strickland Street pedestrian improvements project. This is a recommendation for mayor and council to approve and award DAF Concrete Incorporated the contract for the Orchard and Strickland Street pedestrian improvements project for the bid amount of $557,523.
Okay, Mr. Thompson?
Yes, ma'am. The invitation to bid was advertised on March 11, 2026. The bid opening date was April 13th, 2026, at which time the 5 bids received were open and read aloud. After completion of the bid evaluation, it was determined that DAF Concrete was the lowest responsive and responsible bidder with a bid price of $557,523. The first $180,000 will come out of the CDB block grant. The second, $133,947 will come out of capital projects, and the remaining $243,000 will come out of T-SPOS funds. Nothing will come out of the general funds. Well, I'm wrong. Capital projects is the general funds. So that $133,000 is general funds.
Okay, you have before you IFB number 26-003, contract award to DAF Concrete Incorporated for the Orchard and Strickland Street pedestrian improvements project. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, Councilwoman Nichols?
I just want to know, can we expect any other costs outside of this proposal, besides what you listed here? Do we anticipate more costs down the line?
For this project, no, well, so the contract is a unit, so it's based on unit price, based on quantities. So if they exceed the quantities, then you have to upward adjustment based on the quantities that's installed. So say, for instance, if you install 1,000 linear foot, if you have 1,000 linear foot of curb and gutter allotted for in the contract, and you go 1,010, then that will increase the cost by that unit price of that curb and gutter, but nothing beyond that.
How are we managing that as
We
far
have
as?
inspectors out there doing quantity verification with each pay application.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, so it is the request for mayor and council to approve to award DAF Concrete Incorporated the contract for the Orchard and Strickland Street pedestrian improvements project for the bid amount of $557,523. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? That motion carries. Next item?
Next item is number 7, award of RFP number 25-020 to Kiss My Grits for the downtown destination redevelopment and lease opportunity. This is a recommendation for mayor and council to award RFP 25-020 downtown destination redevelopment and lease opportunity to Kiss My Grits for the redevelopment and activation of the historic freight depot, and to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with such changes as recommended by the city attorney and staff.
Mouthful.
Sylvia Abernathy.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Thank you for the opportunity to present the most successful respondent in the RFP 25020. The city issued a formal request for proposals to identify a financially viable and experienced operator capable of transforming the site into a catalytic destination. Just a little bit about the facility. It was originally constructed in the 1800s and renovated in 2018, and includes approximately 4,256 square feet of retail space. The RFP process was conducted in accordance with the city's policies. We had roughly 315 vendors notified, 63 downloads, 2 formal submissions. The evaluation was based upon financial capacity, experience, concept quality, and alignment with the city's goals. Kiss My Grits ranked as the highest scoring, most responsive responded. A little bit about their concept. It includes activating the space, the vacant historic property, increased foot traffic. Their mission, of course, is to deliver happiness. So we are excited about their concept overview. It's making us hungry as we stand here. But of course, we anticipate that it will strengthen our downtown vibrancy. They have a unique menu and a diverse offering of food items that include brunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They also will be engaging in community programming as well. And of course, they are excited about the opportunity to expand. They're currently on Highway 74, but they're going to be expanding it into our downtown area. Their revenue options will include online, in-person delivery, and catering. So we are very excited about their proposal and them coming into our downtown area. Let's see here. Do we want to wait for them to come up? Okay, all right. One of the things that we feel like this destination dining experience, they have some other programs that they want to include. And so we are asking mayor and council to approve the award of award RFP 2520 to Kiss My Grits, and to authorize the mayor and council to execute a lease agreement subject to review and approval by the city attorney and staff.
Okay.
Yes.
You have before you award of RFP number 25-020 to Kiss My Grits for the downtown destination redevelopment and lease opportunity. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
Okay, it has been moved in second. Discussion?
I just have a comment.
Yes, hold on. Calm down, calm down.
I'm so excited.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
Okay.
You go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay, all right, we've gotten out of control. Councilwoman Nichols?
Yes, I just want to say that I'm really excited about this opportunity. This is the type of energy and vibes that we want to bring to downtown Fairburn. I've personally been to Kiss My Grits, and I love the food, family friendly, so this is exactly what us as residents first, I'm excited to see this type of opportunity come to downtown. I think it's really gonna be amazing for us, because it's not just food, it's community engagement, it's quality, and it just fits everything with what we see in Fairburn. So thank you to Kiss My Grits for continuing to invest in Fairburn, and thank you all to the staff for making this possible. Thank you.
All right, Councilman Perry?
Hey, so really, I really love the dynamics of this. Really, fan of the restaurant, of course. We just had it last week in South Fulton Municipal Association. The food is tremendous. The service is great. The storyline behind yourself, I think that really needs to get out more as to tremendous accolades and awards that you and your restaurant have won. And I really look forward to that coming to downtown Fairburn. One question.
Yes.
The graphics that are displayed in the rendering, will those be coming as well?
Yes, sir. That is the concept that's been submitted, yes.
Nothing less.
There will be an elevated experience
That
in
is a
always.
conceptual drawing, the direction that they are headed.
Well, and that's why I'm asking, because, we have a historic aspect to downtown Fairburn.
Absolutely.
And I really do think that we have a side of the street there that we can possibly go with a little bit different flavor, a little bit vibe there. But I really do think that another sit-down restaurant is exactly what our residents are asking for. So thank you, ma'am, for bringing this, and thank you for bringing your business here. Thank you.
Okay, Councilwoman Davis, and then Benson, and then Hauser.
Yes. I'm extremely excited. I mean, that rendering is awesome. But I want to make sure, are we going to have enough parking spaces for everybody to go?
Yes, we will have enough parking spaces. One of the wonderful things, Public Works in the upgrading of the pedestrian bridge offers parking on the adjacent street. And so in a safe way, people can use the pedestrian bridge to go park and then come back up to the restaurants.
Awesome.
And it's
Can't
well
wait.
lit.
Can't wait.
It's well lit, yes.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Benson?
Thank you. So I guess I was inside your head, because that was one of my questions, as well as just to the owners. I personally want to thank you for investing in our community, because you all have done that for years. And for you to then hear the residents and say, we can do this for downtown as well, is greatly appreciated. It's when businesses engage within our community and don't just come to just take our dollars.
Yes.
But to actually participate and give back as well, that I am very thankful for. So thank you.
Councilwoman Hauser?
I also want to say thank you. I know I've met you before. I talk to so many residents every day, and they keep asking for other sit-down restaurants, and now I have some place to go. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Sippy.
Yes.
I just want to ask, what are the hours of operation that are being proposed?
Well, Madam Mayor, if it is your discretion to do so, can we allow Chef York and Mrs. York to come forward and maybe
Yes.
not only answer that question, but share a little bit about their concept for the train depot?
Absolutely. I will say, the chef, bro, you get all the accolades, but Mrs. is right there, okay? She deserves as much, if not more.
Yes.
I first want to address the parking situation. What we'll be doing on Saturday and Sunday is free valet parking. So they can, once the parking lot get full, they can pull the cars around the back.
Awesome.
We both feel like if we have enough paying customers, that's not nothing that's going to hurt us. Give us free
Special.
valet.
Awesome.
But
Hours of operation.
8 to 3, Monday through Friday, with the exception, because we want to implement the 6:30, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, because we want to do the little happy hour.
Yeah.
And as they spoke about,
And bingo.
But we want to do Monday night bingo.
Okay.
That's one of the things we want to do. We want to start Monday night bingo. It's for everybody, but we targeting the seniors, but it's, you know, for everybody. It's one thing, we want to bring comedy to the city.
Okay,
I think possibly
awesome.
Thursday night, Thursday, Friday night, something like that. So we want to make this fun. We want to make this.
Cooking classes for the youth and couples and single people.
Everybody.
So,
I
on
just,
the green also, sorry, Mayor.
what'd you say?
Screen, on the green.
Oh, okay.
He's riding in, where was that? It was Tyrone, and we said, we got to bring that to our town.
Oh, yeah.
We had the kids.
A little movie
the
night for the kids.
Movie night.
Yes. Okay. So in the rendering, you're using the gazebo. So please talk about that. That's very exciting that you're gonna use that.
Right now, we can fit 24 seats in the gazebo.
Wow.
It'll be a 55-inch. We're gonna lock it in the gazebo. There'll be the Wi-Fi for the music out there in the gazebo. We want to just we want to bring a vibe. You're sitting out there. You can have a whole vibe out there.
And I will say, quite frankly, this is kind of in line with the concerts that we have and the various activities that we have right across the street, the Frankiano Courtyard. So thank you for that. And I just want to clarify, Sylvia, you said expansion. So is this a second location or a new location?
Yes, ma'am. It's a new location.
Okay, new location. So you're closing where are you completing? Yes, okay.
Because we want to put it all in one place.
One place, okay. All right, awesome. Are there any other questions? Well, one of the other questions that was asked by someone was to tell us a little bit about who you are, your claim to fame, and why everybody's so excited by Chef Raoul and Ms.
A bit
Keita.
about me. I graduated from CIA, Culinary Institute of America. I did my externship in France. Won Iron Chef in 16. I won Chopped in 17. I won Top Chef in 19, and I won the Celebrity Edition of Hell Kitchen in 2022. And I also served as a chef for Barack Obama.
Okay, then. Whoa. Calm down, calm down, okay?
Well, you
And
did
he's
ask.
so unassuming. Okay, I love it. Are there any other questions? No? Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So you have before you award of RFP number 25-020 to Kiss My Grits for the Downtown Development Destination Redevelopment and Lease Opportunity. It is a request for mayor and council to approve this award of number 25-020 Downtown Destination Redevelopment and Lease Opportunity to Kiss My Grits for the redevelopment and activation of the historic freight depot, and to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with such changes as recommended by the city attorney and staff. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, I need better than that. I need.
Okay, we can put unanimous, okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, unanimous.
Who made the motion, Mayor?
Well, okay,
Of us, I did.
Davis.
okay.
I second it.
Okay, who made the, Sam, Councilman Perry, second, okay. It has been moved and second to approve, the proposal as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. Congratulations and thank you.
Hey, I want,
Yes,
Thank you, thank
we
you.
have our own water, and I don't mean black label water. I mean, we're dealing with a distillery.
Okay.
That's why you see the pH balance, you see the alkaline,
Alkaline.
you see the hydrated, and it's also sprinkled. That's our water. It's not, like I said, it's not black label. And then we also have our own energy drink.
all right, awesome. And when is opening day scheduled for?
Right now, yes.
Okay.
But I'm pushing
Okay,
for the third week in June.
okay.
In June?
In June. Okay. Just make July 1st. Okay, all right, thank you guys so much.
Can I say one more thing?
Okay, y'all forcing me to violate the rules.
One-
Yes.
One more thing, one more thing.
Yes, mm-hmm.
We also, I don't know, I have Celebrity Media TV. I have a brother right here from Celebrity Media TV. that the day that we open, we will live stream that event.
Oh,
So he has the media trucks, he has everything that we'll have out there. And I also have my brother-in-law, who's actually a real estate developer. And right now, he's, just real quick.
As an African-American family, we have developed over $900 million. I mean, we own properties here in Georgia. We own properties in Baltimore, Maryland. We own properties in New Jersey as well. We bank with Citizens Trust Bank, African-American bank, that's willing to, because the site where they're at now, we was looking to purchase the site, the cigar lounge along with the restaurant. It fell through, so we're looking to help you. I heard you guys earlier about senior housing. We do senior housing. We do a special program, which is house grandparents raising grandchildren. That's something that's unique. That's something that's needed in multiple municipalities. So, I mean, we deal with all these. And we help out a lot of nonprofits in different municipalities to help them build capacity as well. That's it.
Well, thank you for that information. Okay, thank you. All right, next item.
The next item is the Finance Director Monthly Report.
Madam Mayor, the Finance Director is not available this evening. The report has been provided in advance of the meeting for council members and posted publicly to our agenda for all citizens. Our office remains available. If there are any specific questions, we would be more than happy to address those. Please feel free to contact our office, but he is not available this evening.
Okay, next item.
The next item is the City Administrator's Monthly Report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The City Administrator is available this evening, and I am happy to present the March 2026 report. It reflects continued strong momentum and disciplined execution by departments across our organization. We've advanced some very key priorities, and I want to highlight a few of those very briefly. Key in those is something that connects to the last item you just approved, which is progress in our downtown revitalization efforts. We've advanced 2 strategic property acquisitions, key sites that help strengthen our ability to guide redevelopment in the downtown core. We also successfully hosted the Women's Expo, bringing together over 50 businesses and reinforcing Fairburn's position as a hub for entrepreneurship and leadership. From an infrastructure and operations standpoint, we completed facility improvements at Duncan Park, including among those pavilion renovations and other park upgrades. That's on page 3 of your report. And our Public Works and Utilities team continue advancing multiple capital projects that support long-term growth and service delivery. In public safety, both of our teams remain highly engaged and responsive. The Fairburn Fire Department, the ISO 1-rated Fairburn Fire Department, responded to over 330 calls for service in the month of March and continue advancing equipment modernization and training initiative. Our police department maintains strong community engagement through programs like the Senior Citizen Police Academy and neighborhood outreach efforts. Community and quality of life. Parks and Recreation delivered impactful programming, including a community health fair, a senior tea party, and multiple youth programs, and completed a major facility upgrade to the Recreation Center. Our communications team continues expanding engagement through the Civic Points platform that we encourage all citizens to engage with, and they are working with the Georgia Cities Week program as well. Lastly, operationally, our departments continue strong service levels, including over 200 work orders completed by the General Services Department in the month of March, and continued growth in business and utility activity. Finally, to advance planning and community development initiatives, we're working on that, including the upcoming, well, actually it was this past Saturday, Flags Over Fairburn Public Art installation, which was a tremendous success for the 4th year in a row. And that reflects our commitment to placemaking and community identity. We remain focused, proactive, and moving forward with purpose. As always, Fairburn remains situated to succeed because we are, in fact, stronger together. Thank you.
Could you also mention the NeuroFest, the inaugural NeuroFest?
Yes, ma'am. So on this past Saturday, Fairburn held its first, what will be an annual event, NeuroFest. It is an event that was designed specifically for neurodivergent children, and it was beyond successful. All of those engaged were just tremendously excited that the city had taken this positive step. Cities have not forged into this area as proactively as one would have hoped. And so we're excited that Fairburn has taken this step. It serves communities that have long been neglected, and that Fairburn is now meeting those needs in this and other ways. There were a number of vendors there, some of which we will continue to engage with throughout the year. And so we're excited that this first annual NeuroFest was a tremendous success. I know that all of those there gave us nothing but complete positive feedback, and so we're looking forward to continuing this effort to serve this underserved community.
Are there any questions of the city administrator regarding this report? No? Okay. All right, next item.
The next item, Mayor, is council comments.
All right, do we have an executive session tonight?
Yes, we do.
All right, we'll give comments, and then we'll have a motion to go into executive session. We'll start with Councilman Perry.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to just say that we have a lot of things going on here around the world, around the globe. So please keep service and sailors, Navy, Marines, Airmen in your prayers, police and fire, those that put their lives on the line first to protect ours and the way of life here. We just had a recent event, I believe a couple of nights ago there in Washington, D.C. Let me just say this. I think that our passions, they overwhelm, they can consume, and they direct and they energize us. They define and identify who we are. We need to remain devoted to each other, this community, fellowship, and prayer. We are blessed in abundance here in Fairburn. We need to remain purpose-driven, results-oriented, to reach all the needs of our citizens and residents. God will provide what's needed.
And Councilwoman Benson.
Good evening. First, I want to say thank you to the City of Fairburn staff. We completed our retreat last week, and for everyone to come not only prepared, but prepared for all of our questions. Not a question was left unanswered. All of the information was complete. And for our citizens, please know that you have an amazing staff that is working, keeping your heart and your needs and your mind in this community at the forefront. And so I want to thank everyone for their time that they gave to us. And the information is there if there are questions. And know that you will receive complete, competent, solid, sound answers. In addition to that, I just want to remind everyone that early voting has begun. So please go out and vote. Vote your conscience. This is more than just a right and a privilege. It is our duty. And so I ask that you do so and go out and vote. As our city administrator mentioned, Flags Over Fairburn has begun. I encourage everyone to go out to the alley and just take a look at the amazing artwork that is there, that is installed, and read some more about our guest artist for this installation. And finally, NeuroFest. Again, speaking as a mom of 3 neurodivergent kiddos, all 3 of them who normally cling to me wherever I go, for the first time ever said, "Mom, can we go and explore?" And did. And the vendors spoke to not only littles, but children of all ages, and provided services that are often missing for those who are older. So thank you to the city for providing this. That is all.
Councilwoman Hauser.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out, residents and citizens. I want to say during the retreat, every single department head spoke on their job responsibilities and management. Thank you for your spirit of excellence and for your leadership tone, clarity, leadership skills, integrity, and hard work. Public safety, fire, policemen, public safety staff, thank you for your service. Be safe, and God bless you. Thank you again.
Councilwoman Davis.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. I just want to really thank you, Mayor, for inviting our representatives, Glaze, Jackson, and Kemp here for very interesting dialogue and informative information. I think we need to do that a little more often so we can not only get information from them, but they can also receive what we're focused on and what affects us as a city. So thank you for that. And kiss my grits, welcome to downtown Fairburn. That's it, Mayor, I'm done.
Councilwoman Nichols?
Yes, hi, good evening. I just want to thank the city staff and leadership for a wonderful retreat last weekend. It was so informative. I feel like I learned a lot. I'm so excited about the new police dog, Buster, because he came to my son's daycare and the police dog, he was so excited. So that is the newest addition to the Fairburn Police Department, Buster. So excited about all the great things he'll do. Also, yes, continue to exercise your right to vote. Today, we started early voting, and it will end on May 15th. Election is May 19th, so make sure you are reading the ballot, know who you're voting for. And yeah, that's it. Have a good evening, and thank you again.
Right, Councilman Smallwood?
Well, I think my colleague, Councilwoman Nichols, stole my thunder, because I was going to reiterate about the voting, but also the point about downloading that sample ballot. Go to my voter page, because it is a very, very thick election this year. The sample ballot that I pulled down had 42 items / candidates on it. And I had it filled out, so it was my cheat sheet when I went in there, but even with that, it took 6 minutes to do. So it's that thick. So just don't go in willy-nilly. Research, vote who you want to vote for, but just go in informed, because it has started today. So, yes.
Okay. I, too, want to echo the early voting. Also on the ballot, we have a special election for City of Fairburn Council seat. So it's very, very important that you pay attention to that. Also, primary for the representatives you saw here tonight. They are on the ballot as well, and all up the ticket. So it is worth our effort, and it is our responsibility to vote, because all of these people make decisions with or without us. And so we ought to have some say in who they are. Secondly, I too want to thank staff for the awesome retreat. But even more importantly, I want to thank my colleagues. You showed up, you asked questions, you were engaged. That's what made it a fantastic retreat. So thank you all for that. And the citizens of Fairburn will benefit as a result of that. Thank you to the representatives for coming out. They did share a lot of information with us, and I appreciate you voting to extend the time. We could have talked a lot more, and that says that we do have to bring them back, so we will do that. And then lastly, I want to reiterate and echo what a mark that Representative David Scott had on this community. He represented the city of Fairburn for 2 decades, if not longer, and the redistricting moved him to another area, but he will always be impactful and remembered. So thank you so much for that. With that, we do have an executive session, so is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved in second to go into the executive session. And for, what is it?
Real estate.
Real estate.
Real estate.
Is it real estate? Real estate,
Yes,
okay, yes,
Madam
thank
Mayor.
you. And thank you and congrats, Kiss My Grits, we're looking forward to it. And thank you, all the citizens who came out tonight, we really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
Mayor, I got motions, but we need to get it unanimous.
Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
It was the last step.
Thank you.